Hey YouTubers, we're back to go ahead and show you how to change a charge port on an Apple iPhone 6. See that this is the space gray version of the iPhone, so if you're going to order a charge port, make sure you get the correct color. First thing you're going to need is a pentalobe screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, it's either a double or a triple O, a couple of nylon spudgers or pry tools, and I like to use a tile suction cup to help us take the screen off. The first thing we're going to go ahead and do is take off the two pentalobe screws down here at the bottom. Make sure as you remove the screws from your iPhone that you put them in the correct order in which you remove them. A lot of them are not the same size, width. You want to make sure that your iPhone's also off before we start this process. Go ahead and take our tile suction cup here, stick it on the screen, and go ahead and close it. That'll let us kind of pull up on the screen a little bit here without having to damage the bezel. We'll go ahead and just kind of pull back and stick our nylon pry tool under, just twist it back and forth, and that'll get the screen to pop right up for us. Let's work our way down the sides of the phone, just being nice and easy as we pry against it. We'll go ahead and take our tile suction cup off, pull the screen display down towards the bottom of the phone and then up. The one thing I like to do is you can just put a nylon spudger in here to kind of hold the screen open for you while you do the first few screws out of here. First thing we're going to go ahead and do is disconnect the battery and remove the cable for all the electrical power into the phone. So undo both Phillips screws and remove the covering. We'll go ahead and pop off the battery connector, which is the one that's closest to the battery itself. Perfect. Next thing we're going to do is remove the 5 screws out of here. Now you don't have to remove the screen off of this phone to do this repair, but honestly it makes it so much easier. You might as well just save yourself the hassle. So we're going to undo 5 screws here, all into this metal housing piece. We have 3 out and we have 2 more to go. Now these screws are not the same size, so like I was saying, make sure you keep them in the order in which you remove them. Maybe make a diagram of where they went within the phone, or record it, or anything that would help you put these screws back in correctly. Now with all the screws removed, you can go ahead and pull off the housing cover here. That'll show us the cables we need to remove. Just pop off the cables for the home button, the camera, the LCD screen, and then the digitizer touch function. Go ahead and pull that aside, and that'll give us access to the charge port down here at the bottom, free of the screen in the way. We're going to go ahead and pop up this first cable here. This is the cable that actually runs to the charge port. We're also going to need to remove this little wire cable just right down here. It can be a little bit tricky if you're trying to use a nylon opening tool. It's a little bit easier if you use a dental pick or something a little bit thinner like a pin. It'll pop up for us. Need to remove it out of the loudspeaker. This big black thing right here, this is the loudspeaker. We're going to remove the 4 screws, one in kind of each corner of it to hold it in place. There's our first screw. Now we're working on our second down here in the corner. One here at the top. This holds in a little metal bracket that usually stays onto the loudspeaker. Just make sure that it stays on when you remove it. Here is our 4th screw. The next step is to go ahead and try to pull this loudspeaker out. Now, if you kind of work on the side over here and towards the middle, it'll pop right out for you. Go ahead and set that aside. So if you need to replace that, if you hear it goes out, your speakerphone doesn't work, that's the one you're going to replace. Next step is to take out the vibration motor here. We're just going to go ahead and undo the 2 screws that hold that in. It'll pop right out for us. Our next step is to undo the 2 screws here that hold this bracket down here at the top of the kind of the charge port area. can go ahead and pull the bracket right off and remove that. The next item they're going to take out is this little tiny screw here. It's holding in a black rubber gasket that kind of attaches to the microphone down here at the bottom of the phone. Use a pair of tweezers and pull that out for us. Now there's 4 screws that hold down the charge port into the phone. We're going to undo those 4 screws, starting with the 2 on the inside here. Then we'll undo the remaining 4, or the other 2 for the headphone jack. So doing the 2 just on the lip of the phone. And then 2 on the interior portion of the device. Then we'll do the 2 for the headphone jack. Alright, now we have those screws removed. Now this is the tricky part. If you're looking to retain this cable, you want to be gentle as you pull it. Now if your charge port's not working and you're replacing this entire cable, you can just yank the whole thing out. This is a working one that I'm going to reuse, so I'm going to be a little bit careful as I pull it out. There's some adhesive on the back side of the cable up here at the top. This is where the majority of it's at. Just kind of pulling it back now. If you pull too hard right here, you could rip this cable. They're fairly easy to tear. I don't want to do too much just right there. An easy spot to kind of get at it is right next to the right of the charge port. It doesn't have adhesive here, and you can kind of work your spudger in. So going nice and slow, just kind of twisting it back and forth a little bit. I'll start to go ahead and pry up for us. Get a little bit closer towards the battery. Kind of wiggle the headphone jack free a little bit as well. See, you're getting a little bit under the cable to the left of it, not next to the mic. Just be careful not to rip it right here. It can happen very easily as well. Being nice and gentle. So you're making a lot of headway here now. Kind of wiggle it back and forth. You can see that we got the cable to pull up. Kind of pry against the headphone jack here a little bit. Now it seems like where the most adhesive here is going to be on the mic itself. This little black piece down here. See, as I start to kind of pull it back, you'll see the adhesive kind of pull out. It has a little grill attached to it that has a lot of adhesive that's onto the bottom of the device. You may want to transfer this onto your new cable, so be nice and gentle as you go to remove it. See, it just does not want to pop out here for me. We'll go it free just a little bit more. We'll use the spudger just a little bit more to get the adhesive off of here. Perfect. We can go ahead and pry it free. Now if you want to watch the reassembly of this, I'll throw it down in the description. If you found the video helpful, go ahead and hit the like button. Any questions, throw them in the comments. And if you want to see future videos, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I'll post a few as soon as I can. Thanks for watching as always.